Yo, what's up guys? Grim here. This is gonna be a bit of a bonus video here. I just wanted to quickly go over kind of how I'm gonna craft my weapon for my Blade Vortex character, because a lot of people seem really interested in the shaped and elder items, and I haven't really touched on them at all. But that's mainly because I've only just started getting into these items in the past few days. I've been looking into how to best make kind of like really powerful Dagger, which has the two conversion modifiers on it, which I've got here. And today I'm going to explain to you how to make this dagger and then how to finish it off in terms of crafting. So right off the bat, if you're making a spellcaster, specifically Blade Vortex, you either want a dagger or you want a scepter. And the reason for that is so that you can use shield charge still, because shield charge is going to be very useful on bosses like Shaper and Elder, because it'll give you that mobility you need to avoid all of the mechanics in the fight. Elder specifically, there's a lot of mechanics that you need to move around the arena with, and if you don't have a bit of mobility, it can make it quite difficult. So now that you have like the choice between a scepter and a dagger, it's really up to you which one you want to make. I prefer daggers, but scepters are fine too. So with a scepter, you're going to get more cast speed, and you're going to get a bit of elemental damage. And then with the daggers, you're going to get increased critical strike chance with those. So they're pretty good. I like the daggers a bit more. The dagger also has a little bit faster attack speed on some of the bases than the scepter. So next up, if you've chosen the dagger, then this video is going to make a little bit more sense to you, because I chose to craft the dagger and you can kind of copy a little bit of what I did. So when you choose your dagger, you kind of then have two other choices now of what you want to choose. So when you're kind of crafting, there's different bases in the game and they do have different base stats. So you have two options really for the dagger that you can craft. You can choose a higher damage dagger. As you can see, this one has 50% increased global critical strike chance, or you can choose a faster attack speed dagger and lose some of the crit. So I decided to go with the faster attack speed. Again, for that mobility in the boss fights, I like to be a little bit faster with my shield charge. But if you want to go with more damage, you can go with that. So just real quickly, this is gonna be kind of like a pretty brief video. I'm not going to go into kind of a lot of detail about crafting or anything about how the items work in PoE or anything. That's going to be a future video series coming up. This is just going to be kind of like to set you on the right path and tell you what you're looking for so that you can make one in like pretty fast as well. So yeah, I went with the attack speed one. So if you're getting an attack speed one, you want an Imperial Scheme. And if you're going for a critical strike one with a bit of a slower attack speed, you're going to want a Chris. And you can get any of the Chris's. You can get Platinum Chris, Golden Chris, and I don't know, I think there's a lower one, but any of those are fine. So next up, you want to go to PoE Trade, you want to type in like Imperial Skein or Platinum Chris, whichever one you want. Tick the shaped box. And the reason for that is we're going with shaped and not elder, and I can show you why over here. This is a website. It's like kind of like a data mining website, I believe. It's called PoEDB, and I'll have a link to it in the description for you guys. But basically, what you want to do is go over here, come up to items, go mods, and then click over here on the shaper, and then you come down here and type in daggers. That's just what I did. So we want to just take a look at the modifiers here, and I'm not going to go through all of them because there's a lot of modifiers, but I'm going to show you two specific ones here, and that is these two mods here. Gain 36 to 40% of physical damage as extra lightning, and gain 36 to 40% of extra cold. Okay, so the reason we went with Shaper and not Elder is because Shaper has two different ones. He has cold and lightning, which you can roll on it, and Elder only has fire. So I can show you that right now. If we go to Elder and we go to daggers, and we scroll down here, we'll notice that we're going to be missing one of them. So here's there's a bit of chaos damage here, but we're not looking for chaos because we're an Inquisitor, and we don't actually penetrate chaos damage. So we don't want chaos damage. And also, it's only 25% and not 40. So it's actually a lot worse. And then you will notice that there is the fire one, if I can find it on this website. It should be here somewhere. It's a little bit messy. Anyway, I'm not going to slow down the video for it, but basically there's another modifier for Elder. So he has 25 Chaos at the top end conversion and 40 Fire. And then Shaper has 40 Lightning and he also has 40 Cold. So we want to go with the maximum rolls we can, so Cold and Lightning. So we'll go in Shaper instead of Elder. So that's what we're doing for that. So now that we know we're going for Shaper, we know that we've got two different choices in terms of the daggers we want, or we can go for a Scepter, which I didn't do. Now we just need to focus on the item level of the item. So to get the maximum roll for the conversion damage on daggers and scepters, you want to get an item level 80 dagger or above. If you get bang on 80, it might be a little bit better for crafting, but it doesn't really matter. You can get above or anything like that. So I've got a few here that I've been playing around with. I got 80 and then an 83 here as well, and I had a few other 80s, but I traded them to my friend to sell because I rolled pretty well on them. So yeah, this one is 79. Oops. This one is 79, and it can't roll the maximum rolls that we see here on this one. So 79 is no good. You really want to have 80. I just have this one here to show you the base. So now that we know we want an item level 80 shaped dagger, how do I get these sick rolls on it, Grim? So basically what you want to do then is you want to come over to your currency tab if you have it, and you're going to need the following materials to kind of craft this. You're going to need a few orbs of transmutes, probably about 100. You're going to need a few orbs of alteration, maybe 1,000. That might sound like a lot, but that's probably only 50 chaos worth if you go to PoE trade and you type in orbs of alteration and trade your chaos for alterations. So you can get some orbs of alteration, and you're going to need 1 or 2 orbs of annulment, just in case. And I bought about 50 regal orbs, and that's done me pretty well, but I only used about 15 to make this dagger here. I've used the other ones since. And then finally, you're going to need some orbs of augments. I just got 1,000 of them because they're so cheap, and it cost me like 15 chaos. And then some orbs of scouring as well. So those are the kind of all the materials you'll need for this. So transmutes, annulments, just a few of them, alterations, a few regals, and some scourings and augments. So yeah, that's kind of like everything you need, and then you can make this exact dagger. It's just going to take a little bit of luck and persistence. So then what you want to do is you want to grab your blue base that you have here, and you want to just continually use orbs of alteration on it. I used all mine last night, but basically what you're doing is you're just using the orbs of alteration on it until you hit either 36% physical damage or higher as cold, or 36% or higher of physical damage as lightning. And then what you do with that then is you'll use a regal orb on it, and then if you double up and you hit another conversion roll, so either cold if you already had the lightning, or lightning if you already had the cold, then you're pretty much halfway there almost, if not more, because you've got the two modifiers that you want, and then it's going to be a bit of the roll of the dice. So what you can do then is you have two options. You can either spend 2 exalts to guarantee that you're not going to get it to this state. So what you can do is you can go to a crafting master and craft prefixes cannot be changed, but that's pretty expensive, and you're probably better off just making another one if you get unlucky. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you can. So you can go to the master, craft prefixes cannot be changed, and then use an orb of staring on it. And what that'll do is it'll take off the crafting mod, and it'll take off the other modifier that you have on there which you don't want, and you'll be left with something like this with just 2 mods, and then we can go from there. The other alternative though is if you have 3 mods and 2 of them are the conversion rolls, is to use an orb of annulment, and you can kind of gamble a bit and pray to Chris that you get the 1 in 3. I've done a few of these and I have actually gotten pretty lucky with them, but I've also gotten pretty unlucky with them as well. I've destroyed 2 of these daggers with 2 tier 1 conversion rolls, which is on here so far. But it's not too bad. I've only spent about 100 or 200 chaos crafting like 3 or 4 of these daggers so far. So that's pretty good. So just to kind of clarify, what you're looking for is a high conversion roll. And if you roll it by itself, you just use a regal orb. If it's with another one, you can regal it anyway. And if you hit another conversion roll, then if it's by itself with the other one, so you had one mod and then you regaled into the other one, so you've got a total of two, you're already there, you're set. You've got like a 30 exalt dagger just sitting there for you. But if you don't hit it, then and you've got two mods which are good, the conversion rolls, and you've got the like another bad mod. That's when you use the Orb of Annulment, and you're good to go if you rip off the bad mod. So then you've got a base like this. So you should be able to get this reasonably easy. Maybe it takes a few more alterations than I used, but it's pretty common to be able to get two modifiers that you want pretty much every time, as long as you're persistent enough. So yeah, you'll have a dagger like this. So now what do I do with a Grim? Well, for starters, I'm going to tell you why it's so good with a spell like Blade Vortex or EK. So the way that Blade Vortex and EK work is they do physical damage. If I just take this one out, you'll be able to see. So it does 2,850 to 4,263 physical damage here. And the way this dagger works, if I grab it out here, I'll take my bright beak off so you can see. If I put this dagger on, it's going to basically almost give me double that physical damage as extra elemental damage on top of my physical damage. So you'll see here, if I put this on, wow, yeah, look at all that cold and lightning damage I gained from this dagger. I almost double my DPS just by putting the dagger on. No, I do double it actually, so that's pretty insane. So these daggers are basically going to be crazy once you finish them, but you can take it a step further than just doubling your damage with this weapon. You can get even more damage from these things. And the way you do it is you're going to head over to the crafting masters over here. You're going to talk to Elrion. You're going to go to his blessing font. And if you have Elrion level 8, you can put a modifier on the weapon called can have crafting mods, like some multiple crafting mods. So what that'll allow you to do is craft a number of things on it which you want. So you can craft spell damage on it using Katarina, level 7. You can craft global critical strike multiplier from Vagan and spell critical strike chance from Katarina as well. So what that'll give you is 80% of your physical damage is added elemental, and just to clarify, a level 20 hatred is only 36%, so you're basically getting 2 auras out of this dagger. Then you're getting spell damage, spell critical strike chance, and critical strike multiplier. So this dagger, in my path of building, takes me from around 2 million damage to about 3 million damage just by putting the dagger on. So that's really insane. And we can do some other interesting things with the Blade Vortex build coming up as well that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. I think we're up to about 5 million damage right now, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's what you're going to do with the dagger. And when it's finished, it should be pretty crazy. However, getting level 8 Elrion is quite a task, so you can just ask another player if they have it. Just be very, very careful who you're trading your crafting bases to, because this base is probably worth, I'm not sure, like, I'm not very good at pricing rare items, but I would assume it's probably pretty close to 5 or 10 exalts just for the base here, just because of what you can turn it into very easily. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Maybe you can craft a few cool daggers. I'd love to see some of them if you guys can post links to them in the description if you do end up doing them. But you can see, like, even without Brightbeak, it's not too much slower on like the clear speed. So if you're having a lot of trouble with boss damage, this is definitely the kind of thing you want to be crafting. If you have a little bit of spare currency for EK and you want to do more boss damage, because as you can see, the DPS difference is just massive. It's not even close. The dagger just outstrips pretty much everything in the game currently when it's fully crafted. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and learned a little bit about something. And I'm really excited to bring you the Blade Vortex build coming up. I think you guys are going to love it. We're definitely going to be bullying some bosses with the massive amounts of damage we're going to be doing. I'm pretty sure they're going to die extremely fast. And I'll have a full guide out for EK coming up. This was just a bit of a bonus video. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.